Tangerine.
Tangerine.
There it
Yeah,
is.
it's been a while.
It has actually, yeah. And I have like okay, so I have like 20 games because I've been playing games like crazy this year. I think I've how many
Yeah.
games have I completed during the first 2 months? Probably like double digits, maybe towards like 20 games that I've finished
Right.
just in the first couple of months of 2022. And then also, it's as of recording, it is the 24th of February, the day after my birthday. And
Oh, I see.
it's the Steam Next Fest week, and already I've played 20 demos. So there's a lot
Yeah.
of stuff that I want to talk about. So let's just jump right into it. Let's get filled in. Um,
Phil, wait. What kind of Phil?
um, Feels good, man.
Oh, that Phil. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can get behind that.
Tony, have you ever heard of a game called Stacking until I
I
streamed this to
have.
you?
I have heard of this game called
Really?
Stacking. Yeah, I have actually. I can't remember I saw it, but yeah, it's always been like a game that I don't know, like I didn't know much about, but I kind of understood the premise. It's like that's kind of interesting. Then never really thought about it again.
So, if you've ever heard of a guy called Tim Schafer, famously Fig board member, um,
That's where we know him. Yeah.
we know him from being a Fig board member. He also, but obviously he's runs Double Fine, does the big
Yeah.
franchises like,
He is one of those.
Psychonauts 2,
Yeah, yeah. I'm just saying, like he's
Brutal
one of those
Legend.
developers that you know the name of.
Yeah,
That's how big he
he's
is.
he's a Peter Molyneux. He's a Peter Molyneux.
Yeah. That's yeah. I think that's a good way of putting it.
But I feel like this is almost a forgotten Double Fine. I don't think it's that bad where it's like nobody knows about it. But I do think people kind of vaguely remember Stacking, but I don't think it's like a cult classic like some of his other games were. But I really
Yeah,
think
yeah. I
it
can see. It's like just after like the cult classic sort of era. So yeah, that's
because
fair.
my experience with Stacking started in the Xbox Live Arcade. I think it was originally
Yes,
released as an Xbox Live Arcade game.
I think that's
Back
correct.
back
Yeah.
then when you couldn't just release anything on Xbox, it was like a very closed down system, and one of the best ways to get in was to do an Xbox Live Arcade. I remember one birthday like 10 years ago, um I just asked for Xbox Live Marketplace gift cards basically, and then I got a couple of games. I think I got Stacking. I made a game with zombies in it. Was another one that I don't. Can you play that game on Steam? Let me look it up now. That I feel like
Yeah.
that may be another game lost to time.
Yeah, maybe.
That was
I
like,
don't remember it.
um, but that was like another one where it's just like some random guy made it and then put it up on the Xbox Live Arcade. And it was really fun. It was like a co-op shooter, and it was like, um, as the it was like the game was getting angry at you, and it would become more visually distracting, and there'd be more like things on the screen and more zombies to fight.
Right, right.
I remember it had like a theme tune where it's like, I made a game with zombies in it.
So
Yeah,
it sounds like an absolute gem.
there's my rendition of it. But I think it was
Right.
the game was ranked 2009's most popular Xbox Live indie game based on connectivity. It sold 160,000 copies by January 2010. So I made a game with zombies and it was a hit on the Xbox Live marketplace.
Yeah. Anyway,
Um,
back to stacking.
back to well,
I was
it's
gonna say, I one thing that I think this game, and I remember this even back when like back in the Xbox arcade days when I
yeah.
saw this. It's like I feel like the theme of this is like such a good idea, and like it's just seeing it like you like live stream it and things is like yeah, like it's
Well,
like
I should
even better
explain
like watching
stacking to
people
people
play.
who don't know stacking. So
Yeah, it
stacking,
is different.
you play Charlie, a chimney sweep. It's sort of like Victorian era, so child labor's in full force,
Yeah.
and
This way you've got like the way that they deliver the stories like through the
mhm.
old film no sound sort of
And you're Charlie,
idea.
you're the smallest stack. There is literally nobody bigger. There's literally nobody smaller than you in this game. You stack inside babies in this game because you're so small.
Yeah, I guess the
And
idea is that you're meant to stack into bigger things, so you had to be the smallest stack.
yeah, So the idea of this game is basically the general premise. It's sort of like a open area puzzle game with multiple solutions that you solve by stacking into different Russian dolls, who then have their own unique abilities. And then once you've
Yeah.
stacked up a size, you can then go to the next size, and then you need to like combo those together to solve puzzles, which is like a really smart idea.
Yeah,
Because
story-driven puzzles in a way as well. Like it's like thematically correct and like makes sense to what's going on.
I think that's something like Double Fine, Tim Schafer sort of does well is he builds these really cool worlds. They're usually quite humorous, quite visually distinct, I would say. They look quite good.
They tend to try and do something different every time as well, which is always helpful.
Hmm. Apparently, so this was like a smaller title developed during the period of Brutal Legend. So it was just
Oh yes,
they
I remember
wanted
Brutal Legends as well.
they wanted to get out Brutal Legend with, of course, Jack Black.
Yeah,
And the idea was, well, we can just make a small little game. We can put it out on the Xbox and the PlayStation. And then I think like a year later, they released it on PC as well, because I think it was like console first. And then I just remembered stacking one day because, as I said, I got all of that Xbox Live Marketplace credits from all my friends for a birthday, and then I literally installed stacking and forced them to watch me play it on my birthday. That's what I did because I was just like, I want to play stacking. You can see here, I need to get past these people. So this guy has an ability called Make Way, where he just pushes people out the way. And
I like how it taught you the mechanic by just like you're in a queue, you have to get past them somehow. I quite like that.
But I just remember this game and I was like, oh, I'd love to play that game again. And I was like, wait, it's got a Steam version, and the Steam version is available. It says released in 2012. I don't know when they added it to Steam, maybe around that time. But it has basically the base game, and it also includes the DLC as well. The Lost Hobo King, which is the first DLC for stacking, which was it's like a real DLC back in those days. It was like an actual one-level expansion rather than a skin pack or something.
It's like three different tiers of like maybe more than that, but like in my head, it's like three. So you got like massive expansions, like a couple of levels, one or two levels, one or two levels. Or you've got like it changes, like adds like a gun, adds a skin, and I was like, I feel like we're almost all DLCs are just like the lowest tier of DLC.
But yeah, I've played this before. I don't know if I ever completed it. I definitely played most of the game. The game's not like massively long. There's only about 4 or 5 levels, I would say, maybe like 6. But the levels are they get a lot bigger. And also, there's a lot of replayability. I think I 100%ed the game because there's a lot of replayability from finding unique dolls. And in order to find unique dolls, you need to like get them to come to you, which means you have to do more puzzle solving. And every single puzzle has
puzzle Easter eggs.
Every single puzzle has multiple solutions, which I always found really cool. That the way I thought, I think this would be a good way to solve it, is a valid solution to the puzzle.
Yeah.
Whereas somebody else might come from a different angle and then solve it in their own way, which I always thought was really cool. Not something you always saw back then.
No, I mean it's not something you see all the time like nowadays either. Like it's kind of like a forgotten art of like multiple paths, unless like you go like an immersive sim in a different style of game at that point.
But the main story is you and your hobo friend Levi. He's just like Charlie just makes friends with the first hobo he meets, and
that's a good old Charlie.
Basically, his family gets kidnapped by the Baron, who's very pro child labor, and he's trying to stop child labor. And you're trying to go around and save all of your kids, and so this is the first puzzle of the game. So what's happening here is you need to get on the train, but there's a union striking and they're inside a club, and you can't get into the club because the guardsmen won't just let you in. So there's multiple solutions here. I think one of the first ones I do is a mechanic solution. So you shift into the mechanic, and then you open the vent, and then you can go into the club, and then you shift out the mechanic, and you become an uninvited guest, and then the waiter will go, "Oh, there's an uninvited guest here, everyone out," sort of thing.
Yeah.
Also with the vent, I think you can like fart in the vent one of the characters and just stink out the place like chemical warfare, and everyone will just run out. But yeah,
I think that's the one I always see in like trailers and things. Like whenever I see clips of this, like that's like the
yeah,
what
there's
I
some
sort of.
definitely reoccurring mechanics. You know, some old. It's a feature. It's a feature where you always have a
Hmm.
level with a character who can like belch or fart and get people out of a room. But I was trying some different things here. I think I was trying to seduce the guard away with the female character here. Trying that strategy. I think you can do. Yeah, you can like seduce the guard away. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, it
That's
says,
some a lot of thought been put into these puzzles.
but then you can't get through the door. So I was like, oh, okay.
Oh.
But there's a mechanic as well. There's specifically dolls designed that will be called like lookout dolls, and all they do is they will basically like spin up into the sky, and they will highlight like key dolls for you. So they may be unique
Oh
dolls, or they
right.
might be like dolls that will help you solve the puzzles. There's
Yeah.
also like, if you ever get stuck, there's like a menu where you get clues revealed to you, where you can just click it and go, I'm not sure, one clue, two clues, three clues, just to go, hey, if you're stuck on a puzzle, you can get hints towards it, which I think is really cool.
Oh okay. Yeah, yeah.
Um, which I was, which I was using sometimes when I was going for like the 100% ones and I got stuck.
Yeah. I think it's I don't know. I feel like some people like really hate that mechanic. It's like kind of optional to like what you
It's
want to do.
optional, and
So like
I think
it's
they do the right way where they go like, you can reveal the first hint, but then you have to wait like 10 seconds
yeah,
before you reveal the next
yeah.
hint. So you can't just like spam through all the hints. You have to be like, okay, I'm
Because
gonna
it,
see the hint, I'm gonna have a look around, and then I'm gonna
I
see
guess
if I
there's the
need it.
idea of like mechanics that save you from yourself. Otherwise, you would just cheese it all the time. Like you just be like too easy.
Hmm.
But no, this is a really interesting
So
gameplay.
when as a mechanic, I'm an uninvited guest. That's completely ruined the mood that a peasant would be allowed into the club. Now they need to go back to the train. Apparently, riffraff is allowed into this club. Let us go, gentlemen. I do. There is a certain charm to having no dialogue in a game. I feel like.
Yeah,
Do you remember the old like Lego games where there was just no dialogue and it was all just like slapstick, like mime sort of
yeah. I guess
gestures?
so. Like yes, like Lego stuff was old Lego stuff was like miming, right? And this is like more like old school. That there were no sound in old films. They had to
Mm.
add text like after every scene.
Yeah.
It's like and it has just that charm. It's like it is very, like, a very Victorian idea. It's like it does match the theme very well.
It says partial controller support on the store page on Steam for this, but I played the entire thing with a controller and I didn't have a single issue, so I don't know.
Maybe it doesn't. You got an Xbox controller though,
Yeah, I have an
right?
Xbox controller.
Maybe it doesn't work with other controllers.
Hmm, maybe. That shouldn't be a problem with like Steam's like custom controller things.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? They could specify what the hell they mean by that, but
Well, I mean, like, technically this is a Microsoft IP now because Double Fine's
yeah,
owned by Microsoft. So, guys, you're all thinking New Vegas 2's been rumored in the news because of the Obsidian Bethesda acquisition together. Guys,
yeah.
stacking 2, that's what we really need. Stacking 2. I
I'm
think
waiting for
I would
the immersive
I
sim of stacking too.
I would love a fucking stacking 2. I think
Oh yeah,
it's prime
yeah,
for a sequel to this game because it is such a gem of a game. I 100%
yeah.
did it. I played the Lost Hobo King expansion, which you do get included with the Steam version. I don't think it's very expensive. It's about £7 off sale, so definitely worth the money. Um, Somebody in the reviews, someone on Steam reviews says stacking is the best game about mind control, child labor, and Russian nesting dolls you'll ever find, which I can't disagree with because yeah, that it is very
Yeah.
much about child labor and mind control and sucking dolls. So it's a very fun, casual puzzle game, and I would highly recommend it. So let's move on
Yeah.
to another family-friendly game, and let's talk about Genital Jousting. Um,
Right.
Tony, do you
This
know?
is the single player, right?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, did you know Genital Jousting has a single
I
player game
did
mode to
not
it?
know until you told me. I'll say that much.
So this is Free Lives. If you don't know, free. Okay, so free. I feel like Free Lives it's a Devolver development studio, and they have
Yeah.
some of like the weirdest games. So they have like Genital Jousting, but they also made like Broforce. They
Yeah.
also made Gorn, the VR
Oh,
game.
really?
Yeah, like
Okay.
they have like some really interesting titles, which is what I love about. I think I've played all of their games now. Like I've played Gorn, Broforce, and Gentle Jousting. So, yeah. But anyway, I think originally it came out as just a multiplayer game. Just like the idea is, that because I've played it multiplayer as well with some friends because it usually goes pretty cheap. I think me and my friends we started playing it again because it went on sale for like 90% off. Like
Yeah.
it was like
So everyone just
half
bought a copy.
50p, like
Yeah.
less than $1 if you're American, I guess.
99 cents.
There it is.
Had 3 months until the reunion to turn his life
There's a story mode, and the story mode is really interesting because the entire point of the story mode is not the. I would say the entire point of the game is not just. On the surface, this looks like a game where it's like, oh, it's just for a bunch of guys to piss about with dicks. But the entire
Well,
point...
it is.
No, it's not. That's the thing.
Well, it's not just that, I guess. Yeah.
No, because the game is actually about overcoming toxic masculinity in a lot of ways. And
Right.
even in the multiplayer section of Gentle Jousting, it doesn't explain the rules to you fully. But if you play it, you'll understand that not only do you get a point for penetrating someone, which is what most people will do, but you also get a point for being penetrated. So the whole time you're trying to penetrate people, you're also trying to be penetrated. It's about this sort of allowing yourself to be vulnerable sort of thing.
Right.
Which makes Gentle like, because the whole idea of it being in this wrapper of like masculinity, dicks everywhere, is that someone who doesn't understand toxic masculinity might play this game and might come away with a better understanding of it through the game. But like, if you just shove it in their face, they're immediately gonna like shove it away and go, no, I don't want anything to do with this. But if you slowly introduce these ideas to people, then it becomes like way more interesting. Like the entire story
presenting ideas instead of forcing like someone else's ideology is always a better way of going about it.
But the whole point of the story mode is you're playing as a penis called John, and you're trying to find a date for your high school reunion because you're worried that if you don't find a date, that everyone's going to think you're a loser. So you go through all these things of, you like go to your office and you get embarrassed. Oh, your job is to put vibrators up your ass and test them. That is Urgent's job. But the whole story is that you're going through these things where you're like, oh, I know what women want. They want me to be cool. They want me to... My self-worth is based on how much stuff I own. I need to be cool. I need to drink. I need to, basically, it slowly goes through all these things that men would think are important to women. But then slowly it makes you realize that none of this stuff is important to being a man, or it's not important to like your relationship with women, sort of thing, right? And it's sort of, it like through the story slowly teaches you to like believe in yourself and take away some of these toxic masculinity things. Like, it's not toxic masculinity to look after yourself or to be vulnerable or to show emotion and stuff like that, which I think is really important, especially to the player base of people who might accidentally play this game thinking it's something else.
Yeah.
But I think Gentle Jousting is genuinely genius in the way that it goes about this, which is hard to
It's still
explain.
banned on Twitch though, right? Let's just be like...
Yeah, it's fucked up. Gentle Jousting is on the banned Twitch games list. Like, there's some unjust ones. Like, I think we talked about it before on the podcast. Yandere Sim is banned on Twitch for some reason. Thank God
it's not even out.
we're on YouTube right now, so they can't get us here. But yeah, for some reason this game's banned on Twitch. I guess maybe they just didn't want advertising in front of it because they didn't understand what the game's about, which I get if you haven't played the game.
I guess, but I don't know. Like, I feel like it should just I feel like you should just accept it. But yeah, advertising is weird.
But the story mode of Genital Jousting, it's really not that long. It's like an hour maybe of gameplay, and it's a really cool little story. So I'd recommend anyone who has this game, just play the story mode. Like I think I got one of my friends, Jesse, I think he played it as well, and he was like, yeah, it's like a nice little interesting game. So
did you just eat the pepper and salt? What the hell's going
on? Well, I'm on a date, I'm eating stuff.
Okay. I love the animations though.
I love the narration as well.
I feel like you can still get a lot out of it by just accepting that it's just dicks as well though. But I'm glad it's like more to it than just that. But
well, the thing is, in this game, women are dicks as well. So everyone has a dick and everyone has an asshole. And that's sort of how everyone exists in this world, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It also comes up. Well, this is sort of like I'd say semi-spoilery, but there's a point where it tries to get you to get another player to interact with because it introduced a second player.
Right.
So it introduced a second player to try and get you, because the game won't continue until you move another character. Try and get you to find someone in your house to have a conversation with while you play this game. Because it's trying to teach you that it's okay to like have issues and then try and talk to somebody else about them when you have them.
Yeah.
Because that's what the whole climax of the story is about realizing that all the stuff you thought was important is not important, and you just need to look within and realize what is important to you, sort of thing.
Yeah.
If you're interested in this topic at all, there's a great no-clip documentary just about the story mode of Genital Jousting. So
isn't it longer than the story mode? The documentary.
No, I don't think it's that long. I think it's like a little short one.
Okay, it's one of the shorter ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's quite a funny little game, and it's an important little game. So check out Genital Jousting, and also check out Stacking. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.